On today's hot sheet, we're discussing the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller House Price Index, the gold standard across the industry, FHFA House Price Index, also released, as well as new home sales. Today is Tuesday, January 28th. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Good morning. Welcome into today's hot sheet. We've got price indexes, the gold standard from Case-Shiller, as well as FHFA, both released, as well as new home sales data. Before we dive in, make sure that you don't miss your spot at BAM Mania 2. BAM Mania last year was a massive, I'm sorry, not BAM Mania. Wow. BAM Mania, that'll be later in the year. All right. That's a live in-person event. I'm talking BAM Pro Bowl 2. Sorry about that. BAM Pro Bowl 2. We've got there. Jason's got it right in the chat. I don't even have it right. BAM Pro Bowl 2. Last year's first Pro Bowl was a massive success. And February 5th, next week, a week from tomorrow, is BAM Pro Bowl number 2. It is already filling up. We are capping it out. Last year, we had over 4,000 attend. This year, we are capping it at 5,000. There will be no replay. The replay will only be inside of BAMX. So you either got to be live or a BAMX member to get the replay. BAMProBowl.com. Next week, Wednesday the 5th at noon Eastern, we have Jared James, Sharon Srivatsa. We have Tina Call. We also have Ken Pozak, YouTube guru, as well as Kofi Narte as the 5 speakers. Myself and Eric, the broke agent, will be doing the halftime show and the introductions and a couple of the firesides, as well as entertainment as only BAM does. We'll have a national anthem, I'm hearing, once again, a live national anthem like we did last year, as well as entertaining halftime show. And everything that you've grown accustomed to in a BAM virtual event. BAMProBowl.com to make sure you don't miss out on the Pro Bowl. All right, let's get into S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index. This is going back. Remember, Case-Shiller is the gold standard because I think they just take so long to put their data out. So this is going back, lagging data. This is November 2024. It takes a while to get Case-Shiller's data. S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index has recorded a 3.8% annual gain for November 2024. These are just released today. It's the leading measure of U.S. home prices, of course, the way they look at Case-Shiller. Now, looking at the gain in November, that was up from 3.6% in October. So continuing the trend of what we looked at yesterday there, where these numbers are moving up in the fourth quarter of last year. These home price appreciation numbers, the overall number of, top line number of appreciation is certainly has decelerated, but we're seeing a re-acceleration as we look backwards at the fourth quarter of last year. The 10-city composite saw a 4.9% increase, and that's the same annual increase from the previous month. The 20-city composite saw a 4.3, and that is up from a 4.2 increase the previous month. New York, again, the highest annual gain among all 20 cities. That was at 7.3% in November for New York. New York on a tear lately. Chicago and Washington with annual increases of 6.2 and 5.9. And then Tampa posted the lowest return, falling 0.4%. Not falling 0.4% from where they were. Yes, Tampa now actually went into the negative. So Tampa experienced the first annual decline among these major markets rather, that Case-Shiller looks at in over a year. So Tampa, first market of the 20-city composite for Case-Shiller in over a year to show negative appreciation, first annual decline coming in from Tampa. Tampa, obviously, now that's a 0.4% annual decline. Tampa obviously has had, the hurricane over the past year. St. Peter's, some of those areas really impacted, some of those shoreline areas. I've talked to some homeowners there that just don't know what they're going to do next. That right on the water type of homeowners that took so much damage are still trying to figure it out months later. We've seen this in other parts of Southwest Florida where it can drag on, obviously, for years. Also, Tampa, not just impacted by hurricane, but impacted by, you could argue, an aggressive build out from multifamily investors. So that pulls the prices of home ownership, down over time, as there's just an abundance of inventory for brand new, rental options, apartment options, very nice facilities with all the amenities. And if it's cheaper to go rent, which it is in most parts across the country, versus buy on a year basis, when you're looking at it on 12 months, and you're getting all these amenities, more people start to go for where that inventory is. That inventory also has to compete with each other. And then you see more homes sitting on the market. And of course, Tampa was a boom area for building. So those are some of the reasons why you're going to see a place like Tampa start to decline in price when you're not seeing it from, the other areas. And then you're seeing New York do quite the opposite at a 7.8% increase. Let's take a deeper look here at these markets according to Shiller and these major 20 major metropolitan areas as tracked by Shiller here in just looking at November 2024. So the November to October change, really it would be October to November, but they have it worded November to October. You saw a lot of dips go to the negative on a 1 month. Atlanta was a dip. Charlotte was a slight dip. Chicago, Cleveland was basically flat, but a slight dip. Dallas, Denver, Detroit, even Vegas, you saw go down 0.12% with all the demand that Vegas has. Minneapolis down 0.35%. So Portland, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa, Washington, all in the dip month over month. The 10 city and 20 city also month over month saw a dip. Okay. If you look at September to October, everybody, or September to October, everybody basically dipped except for a couple. So you had improvement from that time period, and everybody's in the positives here on the 1 year annual change, according to Shiller, as of up to through November, except for Tampa, the 10 city coming in at 4.94, the 20 city coming in at 4.33, and the U.S. National at the 3.75 or the 3.8 as they rounded up to it. All right, there's your look from Shiller on home prices today. We do expect home prices in most areas, probably in the spring, to see more appreciation, not less. So, places like Tampa are probably still going to be going through it for, greater chunks of this spring, or Austin, Texas. And, outside of those areas, Southwest Florida and Texas, we're not seeing, certainly Louisiana's been there for a couple of years, got that. But we're not seeing it across the country where you would expect home prices to decline. There's, we're going to track inventory to really, see where that comes in, and what kind of pressure are these interest rates going to have, obviously, over the spring. Where are they going to shake out at? All of that is yet to be determined. Going over now to FHFA, going back to 1991, if you're not buying for 12, if you're not looking for shelter for the next 12 months, it's always a good time to invest in real estate and own the home. Real estate does nothing but go up and to the right. Good reminder for buyers who think prices are going to crash down. Outside of a crisis, it's what we saw here. Home prices go up each and every single year, and over time, each and every single decade, they continue to go up. FHFA is calling a what was their top line number here? They're calling a 0.3% increase in November, according to FHFA, and they have 4.2% gain November to November. They previously reported 0.4% growth in October. and they revised that upward to 0.5. So October to November, they're showing a decrease and still appreciating though to 0.3%. And then they're 4.2% on their home price index, November to November on the annual number is greater than the Case-Shiller 3.8. So a little bit of a difference there. If we go into their regions as they look at it, US 12-month price changes, again at 4.2, that's versus 6.9 the previous 12. They have Pacific down from where they were the previous 12. Those 12 months would be November 22 to November 23. So then looking November 23 to November 24, they've got Pacific down, but still up, down from where they were, but up 2.4% overall. The Mountain up 3.3% overall, down from where they were prior. West North Central up 5.1, also down from prior. West South Central down from where they were prior, but up 1.8 in the last 12. And that's the case for everybody. Every region is not where they were the 12 months from 22 to 23, November to November, but still in the positives. And some of these, East North Central 5.9% up. Those are a big number. New England 7.7, the leader now. In the 12-month time period from November and November, New England up 7.7%, coming off of 9.7% the previous 12 months. Okay. So there you go on home prices continuing to appreciate despite the depreciation of or deceleration of the appreciation we saw in the third quarter. Started to move back up, obviously, in the fourth quarter. All right, taking a look now at new residential sales. Builders continue to capitalize on these home price appreciations, widening their margins. Builders coming in on the December 2024 report just released yesterday, coming in at 698,000 seasonally adjusted homes sold. That's the annual rate seasonally adjusted as of December 24. New houses for sale coming in at a seasonally adjusted rate of 494,000. That's not an annual, that's a current. Okay. New houses for sale, almost 500,000 there. We only have 600 something thousand existing homes for sale. Median sales price is right now clocking in at $427,000. These numbers are up. Okay. So if we just take a look at, from November, we're up 3.6%. This is above the November rate that was revised up to 674,000. It's also 6.7% above the December 2023 estimate of 654,000. There's an estimated 683,000 new homes that were sold in 24. So we also have an increase there versus 23, which was 666,000. The average sale price was 513,000. Mentioned the median was 427, and this number is actually slightly down as well. I saw this as high as the 9s last year. 8.5 months of supply. Now that is a buyer's market. Let's be clear here. A buyer's market traditionally, historically, starts at 6 months, or 6 months is kind of an even market, and anything over 6 months is a buyer's market. Redfin goes by the metric 5 months. In your market, you may say some people like 4 or 5 months, a lower number. If you're in a high turnover market, I've heard Ken Pozak say this about Orlando. By the way, Ken Pozak will be breaking down his YouTube strategy at BAMProBowl.com. BAM Pro Bowl to sign up next Wednesday. But I've heard that Ken say this about Orlando. Orlando's a high turnover market, meaning homes sell or get listed and sell, and people are, staying tenured in their home for a shorter period of time. So months of supply to him is actually, I think, under 5 the way he looks at his market in Orlando. I've heard him say this, about 4 months is what he considers the equilibrium, and anything over that, would be a buyer market. They also have more built, and they have more inventory. They're used to having more inventory. So, whatever you look at it as, 8.5, no question on any metric, whether you're somewhere in the range of 4 to 6 months being that middle ground, 8.5 months would be a buyer's market. Buyers have control right now when it comes to most new construction hotbeds. They can go in. I'm seeing it here in Naples, where you're seeing, builders actually drop the model homes in some of these communities lower than where, they've sold, other units in the community. And so, obviously that doesn't sit well, but they got to, get through that inventory, and you're seeing homes prices come down, but you're also seeing concessions, which ultimately bring those prices down as well. They want to do as much as they can to keep those comps high. But sometimes it just is what it is when you have increased inventory in some of those markets. So, but still pretty strong numbers in terms of sales. You see that those numbers overall are up. They're down from the peak 2020 and 21. But they're up here over the last couple of months, and they're up from the dip in 22 when we saw the mid-year interest rate shock, and way up from what we saw in recovery from 10 to, even 17, new single family houses selling brand new, right now is at a much more healthy place. I think you'd see a lot more of these sell if there was any way you could get builders in a position to be able to build a more affordable home. Like if you look at the median price, it was 427,000, and the average was up over $500,000. There's a lot of Americans that want to own a home and, are really good, tenants to somebody, and they just can't afford that. But they could go out there and buy something at, 300 or 350. And with where the interest rate is now, that might even, be a stretch for some. But, when you get into the 500,000+ on the average sale price, yeah, you're going to have months of inventory sitting. There's only so many buyers that can do that can pay over $500,000, whether the house is brand new or not. And so 8.5 months of supply doesn't surprise me. I would expect, builders certainly in some of these areas to slow down moving forward, even though housing starts are still, reflective pretty high. If they were able to start those houses at a lower price, I'm confident that they would sell through those numbers. 4.561 is where we're coming in on this Tuesday on the 10-year, which is good. I mean, this is an improvement. Okay. This is, arguably, the last couple, 12 hours or so, the last day or so has been the lowest we've seen in the last 30 days. This is the 1 month look back. We got there, about a month ago, kind of at the 4.5 mark. We're, now substantially lower than where we were at that 52-week high, up over 4.8. We didn't see much movement on the 30-year. We've kind of been in this range here for the last, number of reads, almost going on, 8 to 10 reads here. We're at 7.07 with the end of the day yesterday. That was coming off of 7.11 on Friday. Not your local convenience store, but the 30-year fixed rate. Thursday's was the high of last week at 7.12, but we sat there 3 days in a row, 7.808. This is a stabilization that we're not that used to, but just up over 7. The 30-year fixed weekly came in at 6.96. Love to see the daily get there so we can keep the weekly number there and at least be, in the high 6s versus the low 7s, just for the good feels and the mentality of home borrowers. Okay, the FOMC is meeting today. CME Group says 99.5% chance that they come out of that meeting tomorrow, and Jerome Powell steps up to the presser and says, we will not be changing the current target rate. The overnight Fed funds rate will not change. CME Group saying a 95% chance that is the case. Obviously, that presser will be tomorrow. We'll be breaking it down in its entirety on Thursday's hot sheet. So Thursday, big hot sheet. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here at BAM. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss Thursday's hot sheet. We're going to break it down. He's going to ask, I think this will be probably the most entertaining presser that we've seen. Obviously, with the new administration, Trump's made some comments about him, and he's going to have some comments, going back the other direction. The Treasury Secretary was just announced yesterday. I mentioned on yesterday's hot sheet, that's going to be a position that might have even more influence than the president does in terms of, getting some pressure on the Fed and lowering that interest rate. So really looking forward to that breakdown. We extract everything from the press release as well as the press conference, and we extract all that transcript as it relates to housing and give that to you, so that you don't have to, sift through all the nonsense that's going to be involved in this. That's what we do at BAM. We sift through the BS and give you guys all the relevant information at your fingertips inside of BAMX. All right. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Also later today, we'll be posting a new Real Word podcast, and I have a really juicy topic about the NAR chief executive. You're not going to want to miss that. That'll be up later today. Have a great day. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow or later on the Real Word pod, and then again tomorrow on the hot sheet. And of course, next week on BAMProBowl.com, not BAM Mania. I see in the comments looking for when the BAM Mania is going to be. We will let you know as we get that date finalized. But we do have February 5th finalized, which is BAM Pro Bowl 2, BAMProBowl.com. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, toodaloo. Take care.